do that.
Thanks, sweetheart. Sorry, I'm trying not to panic.
All right.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.
Then.
Thanks.
See you soon.
Bye, darling.
Bye.
Thank you. Right, I'm live. I must be live this time. I tried something new, and as always, there's always a risk when you try something new that it might go wrong, and it did. So I apologize for that, guys. I hope that you are live with me now. So tell me if you can see me. And I'll just wait one moment because Lucy's been an absolute star. I don't know where I'd be without Lucy, quite honestly. She is just so amazing. Everybody should have a Lucy in their life, right? Really. She's so supportive to me, and I'm really blessed because she puts up with me when I'm a little panicked, when things don't go right. She really puts up with a lot, so I'm very, very grateful. So, we are together. You see me, you hear me, we're on. Please thank Lucy, because she's the one that's really helped this to happen. So, what's the aspect that's really causing a lot of frustration at the moment? I don't know about you, but I've been feeling a lot of things going forwards and backwards and forwards. And I'm trying not to get frustrated with it, but boy, it's challenging, isn't it? I don't know how you're feeling, but when we've got Mars in Aries, in rulership, square to Saturn in Capricorn, also in rulership, they're really strong. And Mars wants to go, and Saturn wants to stop. So you're dealing with a very difficult situation, yeah? It's tense, it's tight. So you may have energy of saying, yes, I've made a decision, I'm going with this now. And then you may second guess yourself. You may be thinking, oh, I'm not sure, was that the right decision? Or even worse in some ways, maybe that decision is taken away from you because of certain political changes, COVID changes, financial changes. You may feel things that, your normal free will moving forward in your life is normally not happening. So how can you use this energy? Because I'm going to confess a personal thing here. It's this sense of frustration. Are you experiencing it? Is anybody having this with me? Maybe you're not, although I can't imagine that with these kinds of aspects, you're not experiencing some kind of yeah? Or questioning your actions. So you may get really clear about something, saying, yep, clear, I'm doing this. So for example, I was really clear, I'm going to buy that Apple computer, I'm getting it, I'm going to change to Apple, I'm going, yes, yes, yes. And I was gung-ho. Somehow, in between ordering it and arriving a couple of days ago, I changed my mind. I thought, oh no, I don't think this is a good decision. Maybe I shouldn't get the Apple. Maybe I won't like it. Maybe it's not the right decision. So I've driven the poor guy mad, poor Yanni, who is going to help set me up on the new professional system. He told me, I think you're making a terrible decision. Well, of course, that's the Saturn energy trying to pull me back. And my Mars said, no, I'm not. I don't want it now. Yeah, I dug my heels in. And then I got to thinking again, well, am I being silly? Because I've not heard from Yanni now. And the company, he said to me, I don't think you'll be able to return it anyway. I said, well, I'll see about that. So I got in touch with the company, and of course, yes, they will take it back, no problem. They've even sent out a UPS permission to send it back now. So now I'm sort of in between these energies. Do I move forward? Do I keep this bloody Apple MacBook Pro that I was gung ho for? Or do I trust this sort of cautious side that says, maybe it's not the right decision? And this is this kind of energy that we're dealing with for the next few weeks. It's not going away soon. So how can you use it constructively? All right, that's really the question here. How can you use that energy where you're kind of moving forward and then not moving forward? The best thing with this Capricorn energy is to focus on one thing at a time that's really important to you. One thing that really matters, and give it all your attention. Now, if you do that, you galvanize this energy of Mars that wants to bloody do something, right? Definitely needs to take some action, Mars in Aries. Doesn't want to sit there and be passive. Definitely not passive. I'm getting some great feedback here. Yeah, so I'm being told to keep the apple, and I'm being told Apple is a rip-off. You see, and this is exactly what's been happening. I love it. Stay away from the new China apple. I've no idea if this is China apple. It was bought in England. So I've got my English keyboard. It's sitting there in the box ready to go back, or not. So what do you want? What is most important for you to take action with? Okay, Lucy's got a MacBook Pro and is still adjusting to it, thank you. And what would be really a good accomplishment if you took action? So, for example, give you another personal example. Doing your monthly forecasts, that takes a tremendous focus. Yeah, I've really got to hone in my energy, my mind, my concentration to do those monthlies. And I really wanted to get some done today. I wanted to do all 12. Didn't quite manage it because I was scheduled for the live stream. But I thought, no, I'm going to use this Mars-Saturn energy constructively. So I sat myself down and I said, right, you're staying here, Saturn energy, but you're going to do these videos. And I got 9 of them done in record time. That's the nice thing. When you really focus the energy, it's really great. So I'm getting great feedback here. People loving Apple, people preferring PCs. I mean, Yanni, who's, persuading me to go to Apple, he said, how can you be a professional and have a PC? He was really tough with me. I came off the phone thinking, I've used PCs, but okay. MacBook Pro, most high quality electronics you've ever used. Thank you, Alexander. So this is great. So as you can see, you may find yourself forward and then the brakes are on. Forward and the brakes are on. And that's the kind of energy. I like that. Keep Apple as a backup. I can use it without pressure. It's interesting. It's a very expensive backup, I have to say. Apple, you fall in love with it or you don't. You like it as a best friend. Okay. So, thank you. It's great. So, I entitled the video, Gold Breaks $2,000, which is a significant milestone. It's kind of, is it a good thing? Well, what does it show us? Thank you very much, Lynette. Well, what it's showing us is that with all this money printing, this is quantitative easing, which is a fancy term for printing lots of money, which all they are doing is adding zeros on a computer screen. There's no value for that money. There's nothing being earned for that money. There's nothing being produced for that money. It's just money that they are printing. And the more that they print the money, with no intrinsic value to the money, the more you will see the currency will buy you less and less and less. And the reason gold is going up is because people are losing faith in the system. I've been bleating on about gold for a very, very long time. I've no doubt it'll drop in price again. Nothing goes up in a straight line, so it'll go down again. For those of you that haven't got a little gold, or silver, silver's at something like $28 an ounce at the moment. So you could always get a little silver. But these are tangibles. And we're looking at the strong possibility that there is going to be a reset of the economy. It really should have happened in 2008, when we had the global financial crisis. And I think there have been little glimpses of the fact that we are moving to crisis point again. And Uranus in Taurus, this is our money. Taurus is our money system, our economy. And Uranus is the great equalizer, the great awakener. What are we doing with money? What's it for? Has it got all out of balance? I mean, I just find it just so strange that, I was reading Mark Zuckerberg, I think, made another 20 billion this last month, and Jeff Bezos another 19 billion, and it's like, wow. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I'm saying it's strange when there are those who have very, very little. And it seems to have always been so. But Uranus in Taurus is going to create some kind of a universal package. And of course, they are going to keep giving stimulus packages. And yes, I've got teddies by the side of me. Instead of bulls and bears, because we either have a bull market where, it's going up, 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 or a bear market where something's going down, down, down. And I thought we'd have a teddy bear market instead. A market where we are focused upon how can we create a system that nourishes everybody. Everybody. So I think that the signs are on the table that we are going to have inflation. Well, we're already seeing inflation. Certain prices of food is already going up. But before long, the more money printing that goes on, you begin hyperinflation. And I don't know if you've lived through a time of hyperinflation, but when you go through a time of hyperinflation, the currency becomes worth less. It's worth less and less and less. And then your dollars or your pounds or your euros or your drachma, your Danish krona, whatever it is, they're not worth anything. And this is not to frighten you, it's just to see what is the likelihood of what is coming. Now, Uranus is always the master of surprise, so we're going to have surprises. We're going to have changes, for sure. But how can we best prepare ourselves for what looks to be on the horizon, what looks to be out there? What looks to be coming next. So what I'm seeing coming next is possible shortages in the food supply, because Taurus rules our food supply, agriculture, and I think that's going to be very choppy. So what I would suggest is stock up on some foods at the moment if you can, because what tends to happen in a panic is that all of a sudden within hours supermarkets are empty. We saw it earlier in the year with the toilet roll fiasco. But just stock up on some tinned food, some dried foods, some medicines. Make sure you've got eyeglasses if you need them, spare pairs. some torches, an alternative way of cooking if you have it. Thank you, Claudia, very, very much. But just give yourselves options and do it while you can now more easily, so that you are not part of the panic. That's all. It's not about panicking. It's not about hoarding. It's just so that you don't become a part of it. You're not one of those people that is queuing round the clock to get into a supermarket. And you may have supplies that can help other people. Don't forget that. And stock up on all kinds of medicines if you can. Any kinds of homeopathics, herbs, supplements, all of that. Just get it, yeah? Nothing to lose. These things usually last years, and often they last a long time beyond their sell-by date. You might want to have about a month's stock of water, and if not that, then at least get some water purifying tablets or something, so that just in case, and I'm not saying this will happen, but Uranus in Taurus suggests turbulence with weather, with climate, with food, with these kinds of things. So there may be a glut in one area and a paucity in one area. Yeah, we may just have imbalances in the system. And that's really the kind of thing I'm seeing. Yes, learn sustaining skills. We need people who can cook and bake and garden and fix things and construct things and do things with energy and all those kinds of things. But everybody's got a space. Everybody's got something somewhere that you can give. That's your special light. So, what else am I seeing? Well, they're obviously going to abolish cash. Cash is going. Sadly. I feel sad I like cash. Okay, I don't know about you. Do you like cash? I love it. Water. So, what with COVID-19 and with everything having to be extra sterilised and what have you, I think that it's perfect for them to just abolish cash. They're just going to say it's dirty, but really it's an opportunity for them to stop bank runs, because they can just close the ATMs, shut them down, and everything can become digital. And that's the direction that we look as though we are going in. So, I don't like this personally, I don't like this one bit. Well, cash has been gradually going everywhere. Yeah, I mean, look at the Scandinavian countries. I don't think Scandinavia's got a lot of cash. When I was in Amsterdam a couple of years ago, there were stores where you absolutely can't pay in cash at all. You had to pay by card. So, I mean, this has already been coming. In India recently, or about a year or so ago, they abolished all the high denomination cash notes. So as you begin to see the lower denomination, you'll see them phasing out the high ones. You certainly don't see €100 notes here in Greece. Very few. Probably seen about 5. In Austria, you see more of them. But, they're on the way to getting rid of cash, which is a great way of resetting everything to the digital. Of course, the concern about the digital is this. The state has then control over every movement you're making with your finances, and I mean everything. And it depends on how good the state is. It depends how good and kind the government is. So it certainly means that your tax situation is going to be much more closely monitored. Okay? Fines. What you do with your money. Yeah, this is really... We're moving towards that energy. I can't say that we're not. And again, it's not to frighten you. This is just a heads up. This is just a heads up with the possibilities that I'm seeing coming up. So I think the big thing is with the Uranus energy, Saturn and Uranus coming up, in Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius coming up, at the end of the year is that they can do things without your permission. So they can take things maybe out of your account without your permission, stop things without your permission. So, we have to really think about this. Is this what we want? What's the alternatives? What else do we want to create? What kind of communities would work better? But this is what's coming mainstream, at least what I'm seeing coming. At the kind of more extreme level, I think we're probably going to see governments fail as a result of this. And I think financial systems, banks are going to fail. I mean, they're just being propped up by just fake money, fake everything. And it's not sustainable. I heard recently that there was a very big bank glitch that could have brought the entire SWIFT global system down. Apparently it was only just averted. So I think there's been many possible bumps, and it's just not a question of if, it's a question of when. So, at the worst case scenario, social unrest, civil war, conflicts, all these kinds of things could happen. I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying they could. So what can you do about it? What can we do? Yeah, the writing's on the wall, and what most people tend to do is they kind of know that something's coming, but most people don't really prepare for it. Not really. But I've always said, isn't it better to be a year early than a day late? And even if you've prepared and you've done all this and nothing happens, hallelujah, nothing happened. Isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? And so you'll have a bit of spare, and you will have bought these things at a lower price than there will be in time to come. You'll have some bargains there that you can share with friends and family and other people that might need this on the journey. That's how I look at this. So, I've told you about stocking up. I would do it. Gold and silver, I've told you about that. I'm still telling you to buy gold and silver while you still can. There will come a time where you won't be able to get it, the physical stuff. The paper stuff, you can get plenty of that, but paper burns, and it will burn. And looking at the history of the Roman Empire, the Persian Empire, all these different empires, I was listening to somebody recently, I think it was Rabbi Mizrahi, saying that all these empires lasted around 200 and odd years. 200 and odd years seems to be the time that these empires last. And we're coming to the close of an empire with the United States Pluto return in 2022. Thank you, Code Breaker. Thank you. Of the possible end or rebirth of a new empire. We're around 200 odd years of America being really the bosses of the world. Now that the reserve currency, all the things, America has been the focus of the world. It's where people have wanted to go. It's the new world. It's where people want visas and green cards. It's where people have felt they could flourish and be free. So America is super key. Super key in all of this. So I'm still harping on about gold and silver. I'm not stopping on that. There will be a time to sell it, of course. When something new comes and we see the shoots of something, then you will want to sell it and get involved in the things that are coming. Absolutely. But right now we're in collapse. And when things are collapsing, this is when, sadly, gold and silver gain value immensely. So I would have no doubt that there is a possibility that gold goes to 10,000, silver goes to 1,000 or more. Sorry, but 100 or more, 200, I don't know. It depends on the hyperinflation, and it depends how quickly this all actually begins to unfold. I don't know. Once again, this is not about panic. This is just about being informed and looking at what's happening around you and deducing possible scenarios. And I don't know about you, but I would much rather prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And that way, you are in a calmer frame of mind. And the more people that are calm and not panicked at this time, and not living in fear, the easier we can express our love and our caring. But if you ain't got food, and you're fighting for every last thing, you're not going to be very happy. You're not going to be very friendly. People who are hungry and on the streets and don't have a home are not very friendly people. Yeah? They're angry. So we want to try not to be one of those numbers if you can help it. Okay? If that's what's meant to happen to you and it happens, okay, then we can't stop it. But whatever you can do to prepare right now, absolutely. I got to give a shout out here for Lucy. You're doing a superb job here. Thank you, Lucy. She's fantastic. She's my assistant, my chief moderator. Thank you, Drew, for being here today. He also joins here on the moderation and bringing you all together. Thank you. You are my family. So, I think there's going to be an exodus out of cities. I don't think people are going to want to stay in cities. Already we're seeing huge increase in values or properties being snapped up in rural areas. That's happening in the UK. It's happening in areas of the United States. So this is probably going to be a trend. I think that office spaces and commercial properties are going to, lie empty, malls, all these kinds of things. These are great questions. How do you pay your bills with gold and silver? You're absolutely right, and you can't eat your gold and silver. This is a storage. You are storing something that is of value. Somebody will exchange that gold and silver. It's worth something because there is not very much to go around. You will see. Thank you for liking the video. Please like. If you like, we get more of our family joining us. As you join, more things are co-created. Yeah, more things are co-created. Well, Atcha Herb, yeah, that depends where you live. You're saying they're not forcing no cash. Some places are already. You'll see. It is most likely coming. So, what else can you do? Well, you've got to start thinking now. We're coming into Jupiter in Aquarius at the end of the year. Start thinking about which industries are going to grow. Which are the areas that are going to grow in value? Yeah, look at Amazon. Look at Google. Yeah, look, they've been business. Look at the food businesses, the supermarkets. Yeah, some businesses are going to grow immensely during this time. So you might want to invest energy systems, energy, technology. These are all things ruled by Aquarius. Quantum healing businesses. Thank you, Gabrielle, very much. Yeah? So start thinking now about where you could put your energy into the areas that are going to be growth areas as we move into this new global reset. But try not to get caught out if you can help it. And try to do some of the things here that I'm suggesting. Now, what else can you do that is not maybe so tangible? Well, I think you can begin to do what you enjoy, right? If you're out of work or furloughed or anything, what do you enjoy? What do you love doing? Start exploring your talents, your gifts. When you do what you enjoy, somehow things fall into place for you. They really do. I mean, I love astrology. I was told by a very famous astrologer that you can forget making a living at astrology. You'll never do it. And certainly as a woman, you'll never do it. I was pretty put out, actually, when he told me that. And I thought, okay. But by then, I was already quite successful. Actually, I already had a pretty good practice. But it was like, wow, okay, I'm doing what I enjoy. So I'm not suggesting you invest in technocrats, Sabrina, but there might be some new startup businesses involved in energy. involved in new medical devices that might be very beneficial and very inexpensive and not big pharma. You know, there are many ways around this, you see. So invest in yourself, invest in learning, invest in studying, invest in knowledge, invest in you. Yeah. And remember, of course, that many of life's things, because Uranus in Taurus is the shake-up of our values, yet we need the basics: food, water, shelter, energy. That's about it. Friends, community. These 5 things. You've got those 5 things. You're a king or a queen. Over and above that, of course, now you would add to that technology, having an internet connection, being able to be connected like this. Yep, okay, maybe 6. But these are the basics. So look around those things and say, hey, you know, the most important things are actually don't cost you anything. Nature, friends, community, books, music, and to appreciate all those things. To really appreciate. I think it's important to have gratitude for the things that you do have, because that somehow creates that vibration of abundance. It just changes things. Yeah, it really does. Just being grateful. It brings me so much joy every morning when I do my gratitudes. I just have such an uplift. It's like, wow, I have so much. So it's about counting blessings. It's about also praying or trusting in the divine and knowing that you can only do so much. You prepare the best you can. You learn. You be adaptable to new opinions, new ideas, to more information coming through. We might learn that we don't need the bloody masks. We might learn that we don't need social distancing. We might learn as we go along and have to adapt our behaviours. So be open to that. Be ready for that. It's quite likely that that may be happening. We're learning more and more about this COVID-19. We can look at countries that didn't lock down and countries that did. First waves, second waves, cures. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities here, and it's important to be as informed as you can and to trust your instinct and to trust what your insides are saying to you. I had a friend, you know, he very much wanted me to come and get a little piece of land and have a property on Evia, the island of Evia. And I went out there again a couple of days ago because, you know, I wasn't sure. It was one of those not sure moments. When you're a Libra, you have quite a lot of those because you're trying to balance everything. But I drove out again and I got such a no in my heart. Much as I like him and much as it might have been nice and the land and the food and the water and all of that, I got a no. And I trust that. And I told him, I said there and then, I said, you know what? Because I was even going to stay the night. I said, I'm not staying the night. I'm driving back tonight. I'm not staying. It's not for me. This is not where I'm supposed to be. So, where do you need to be really truthful and honest and cut something that you know is not right for you? I think we're moving much more to this touchless technology. Certainly with, thank you, Pohala, thank you. Darwin shared that the survival of a species doesn't rely on physical, yes, strength or intelligence, but rather on the ability to adapt. Thank you. So our adaptability and our willingness to learn and change. And that is what's being called with the North Node in Gemini. Certainly that's being called for. So I think we're going to see more touchless technology. We're going to have thermal body scanners scanning your bloody temperature wherever you go. We'll have face recognition, voice recognition. Yeah, these are all going to be areas of growth as we move forward. So, I ask you to look at the things you're getting used to. Uranus in Taurus is shaking up those habit patterns. Are you getting used to wearing a mask? Are you getting used to just using the sanitizer? What are you getting used to that makes sense? And what are you getting used to that you need to become aware of and conscious of that is not making sense? I mean, apparently there are people who wear their face masks at home now. I'm not quite sure what for, but, you know, we've got to keep questioning everything. Why? Why are they doing that? Why is this happening? Yeah, Walmart's already got facial recognition, thank you. Well, you'll have those thermal body scanners, for sure, coming. So they're checking your temperature. So, I would say prayers, gratitude, certainly with the Neptune in Pisces energy, we're being supported. There's a divine energy at play here above all of our machinations, yeah? We're kind of like doing this, doing that, trying this, trying that. Half the time, we really don't know what we're doing, I think, really. We're just trying things. It's trial and error. So I'm just going to say, let's trust that there is a divine energy here that is showing us that we must change. We've got to make a big evolutionary jump here. And the more of us that can come together, that can inspire each other, where we feel as though we're being held, where we feel as though we are nurtured, we're valued. This is really what is going to be the currency of the future. Valuing one another. Valuing yourself, appreciating your own gifts, and valuing other people. So, I'm sending you from my heart love. I hope that you found this interesting, valuable. I appreciate your feedback, your comments. I want to say thank you so much to wonderful Lucy, to fabulous Drew. Thank you for being so positive and helpful here. Thank you to those who have donated today live online. Thank you very much for those of you who support me on Patreon. And just for your thumbs up, thank you for liking the video. Please like. It really helps that YouTube algorithm. And I'll just say bye for now. Thank you, thank you, thank you.